Hey folks, and welcome to another Facebook Live. Quite a special one, this one. So I hope you're really going to enjoy it. I'm going to keep on a theme for this one. So as opposed to bouncing around all sorts of subjects as you ask all the questions that I'm delighted to help you answer, I'm going to try and stick to a theme of all the things I wish someone had told me on day one as I walked through the doors of police headquarters. So what I did was I put out a post, and it's following a post by one of our group members, Declan. I'm not going to say his surname because I want to keep things confidential inside this group. He shared this post a few weeks ago, which was just awesome, and he asked pretty much the same question. What sort of things, what are the messages serving officers would you pass on to me, someone who's looking to join? And so I posted something very similar the other day, and we've got some awesome answers from you, the members of this group. So the other thing I'll probably do is I'll probably share a video of this, because I've found out that actually Facebook Lives can be recorded. So I'll be looking to maybe share a video of this on YouTube. So I'm only going to use first names. All right, I'm only going to use first names. The chat that goes with this doesn't appear on the video, it's just a video. So just to make you aware of that, folks, that might put this out on YouTube, because I think it'd be really, really useful for everyone. So the theme this evening of the Facebook Live is, for those of you who are serving officers, these are the messages that you wish you could have passed on to your earlier, younger self the day you were walking through the doors of police headquarters to join the police. Awesome. So we'll do a few shout outs first, whilst waiting for other people to come and join us. So Paul, good evening to you. Ashley, Gemma, Hannah, Helen, Paul saying, hello, Sir Brendan. You keep calling me Sir. Hello, all fellow Blue Lighters. Awesome to have you on board. Rianne, Mitchell, Paulie, you're still joining that. You're still joining me live at 7 o'clock, Paulie. Olivia, Dan, Aretha, and Thomas saying, hello there, Brendan. Hello back to you, Thomas. Brad and Thomas watching as well, and please do post something as well, post some comments, post some questions, post how are you feeling at the moment, how are you feeling about the group, what do you think about the group, just a simple hello. The more you engage, the more Facebook apparently quite likes it, and it will push out this message to other people in the group, because believe it or not everyone gets notification that I'm live in the group at this moment in time. It depends on how many of you are actually interacting with this post. So and Paulie's saying, of course, I'll see you there. So likes and loves are good as well. Someone's just give me a stream of likes. Awesome. So likes and loves are good as well whenever you think there's something awesome being passed on as a message. And there's also an opportunity, folks, for one of you to join me live, even if it's just for a few seconds to ask a question or to pass on some words of wisdom. We'll see if we can hook it up. There's a way of going live. Actually, I'm just looking at the moment. It's well, there may not be actually. Oh no, yeah, it depends on who you are. I think it depends on. I don't know what it depends on actually, because I know some of you are actually friends in this police recruitment world of mine. And let's just see. Oh, hang on. I'm just seeing. So Lee's just saying videos showing us having no sound. All right, let's just check everything. Can everyone hear me okay? Let's just do a sound check. Let me know whether you can hear me. Lee's saying that the video is showing us having no sound. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay? I've got a like there. Yeah, sounds on mine. Right, okay. So Lee, there might be something wonky there with your video. But thank you, Paul, for confirming the sound's working, and a lot of likes there. All right, okay, so this is quite informal, this. Barris is saying all good here as well. Thank you. Phew, I was thinking, there's so many people watching and there's no one actually saying, I can't hear you. So loud and clear, and Dawn's joined us as well, and Jerome. Oh, it's awesome. Some great people joining us this evening. It's fantastic to hear from you. So anyway, let's get stuck in. So it's an awesome post. I'm going to talk through some of the things that were posted here, because I think they're great. Those of you who are serving, and those of you who are serving who are part of the group, and that is thousands of you, by the way. And if you're watching this and you're not in the group, if you're watching this on YouTube later, we have got this awesome Facebook support group The people who are watching it now, the people who are commenting that I talk about, they're watching it now. They are a community of almost 14,000 awesome people who are helping each other, supporting each other through the police recruitment process, and helping each other have awesome careers. So it's not just for when you are looking to join the police, excuse me, it's expanded now, so that I try and provide a little bit of support every now and then for people who are actually in the police, because I want to make sure that you have this career that's not just successful but is fulfilling as well. So one of the things that I thought would be really useful is to ask those serving officers, what are the things that you wish you could have told yourself as you walked through the headquarters door on day one joining the police? So you got your bag with you with your uniform in, and you're dead nervous and you don't know who you're going to meet and what's it going to be like and what's your training sergeant going to be like and who's that person that's got loads of silver things on her shoulder, and it's all just this very, very confusing world, I know. So I'm going to read off. So I've got my laptop next to me. If I pull it and show you, oops, I do things like pull out the power cable, and then knock the phone so it's all wobbling all over the place, so the camera's just got wobble. Let's let it all settle down again. No, I'm not going to show you anything because everything will collapse. So I'm just going to go through some of the posts if I can. So if you see me looking away, that's why. I try to print them out, but you can't print stuff out from Facebook. It's rubbish. So one of the big things that came out all the time was communication. Stuart said, best bit of advice I got from one of the instructors was, we can teach you the laws and loads of defensive skills, but your comms will always be the best tool you carry with you. Be a good listener and think before you speak. So a phrase I heard years ago from one of my sergeants was, you've got one of these and two of these for a reason. Use these. Very wise words. Listen. Don't be in a rush to break off conversations. Don't be doing what they do on the news, and they're always interrupting each other, aren't they? Newscasters asking a question before the other person's even finished answering the previous question. It's just rude, and you're not going to get the best out of people because they're going to think they're being interrupted all the time. And I've seen scenarios escalate and get out of control because you've got someone agitated in front of you, and the police officer wants to have the last word all the time, or wants to, they'll interrupt them because they know that they know what they need to tell them, and they don't, and it just winds people up. So one of these, two of these for a reason. So your listening skills are so important. Your comms skill are so important. And always go in at the lowest level, and then you can raise things if you need to. But once you've raised things, it's hard to go down to the low level. So always go in calm, no matter how agitated the other person is. If you go in shouting and screaming, then you're just going to get the same off them. Watch the fly on the wall TV programs. There's some cops that are really good at this, but then there's others. They'll be shouting at them, calm down now. What? As if that's going to happen. Stop struggling, calm down. So the old person here is struggling and thinks, here's a shouting, and it's just not going to work. So I know you might be thinking I'm a bit naive here, but honestly I'm not. 3 decades in the police, and lots of people commenting on this. Jamie said, being able to talk to people can make a massive difference. You have to deal with people in different ways from person to person. Not that I'm known for being much of a diplomat. I can't be straight to the point, but you've got to really make sure that you've got a clue about how to talk to people, and don't make false promises neither. I learnt this years ago as well. Don't tell people things that aren't going to happen or are going to happen. That's just wrong. Don't make a promise about, yes, of course I can get your girlfriend here, and if you can't get your girlfriend, that person's girlfriend to them, then don't make the promise that you're going to. That's something I learned from hostage negotiators. I quite fancied that, by the way, but realised then that you're on call like for most of the week, and it's 24/7 that you're on call for, and you still have to do your day's work the next day or the night's work or whatever it is. Just thought, I don't think I could do that. It just drive me nuts. I'd be insane by the end of the week. So what's Connor saying as well? I remember in my early days, I didn't have a clue of how to speak to people, how to approach people, and how to be approachable. It took a while to learn a style that's comfortable to use in situations. It can differ massively from talking to the usual customers or someone who's never been in contact with the police. But I think it's always important to remember that impressions count and that we're all human. It can make jobs easier, encourage people to have faith and talk to the police, and also make it easier for the next colleague to deal with that person. Yes, indeed, Connor, that's brilliant advice. Every contact leaves a trace. Every contact leaves a trace. And there have been so many occasions where in the past, people have been around the block a lot, have come to my assistance and supported me, despite the fact that they've got a list of convictions as long as my arm, but they've come to help me. I remember one guy, it was myself and one of my constables when I was a sergeant in Wigan. We went to a street fracas that it was just out of control. And I was shouting up for backup. I just thought, oh my goodness, we're going to end up scrapping here. It's just not looking good. And this guy comes out of the house and he just tells them all, and in no uncertain terms, to get back in the houses and stop upsetting the sergeant. And I'm thinking, wow, who are you? I didn't say that, but I'm thinking, wow, this is just awesome, this. And he came up to me and shook my hand and I said, I'm very sorry that happened to you, Mr. O'Brien. Not using, it's this odd accent I use for people I've come across in the past. He didn't actually speak like that. He had a strong Wigan accent. And I did say to him, look, I've got to be honest with you. I really can't remember you. Your face seems strangely familiar, but I can't remember who you are. And then he came back and just said, do you know, you were the sergeant in the charge office when you booked me in about a year and a half ago. And you were really sound. You were really, really good to me. And I was having a difficult time at the time, and you chatted to me in the cell, and you got me a brew and an extra blanket, and I've never been treated so well. And I really appreciated that. It meant a lot to me. So thank you. And they were all out of order. I'll be speaking to them later. And I'm thinking, that's never happened. And something like that had never happened again. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? Every contact leaves a trace, and it's that way you communicate with people. My sergeant years ago, a good old Sergeant Don Blackhurst, a legend in my mind, bless his soul. He had 29 years service in when I first went operational on the 3rd of January 1986. He was one of the first sergeants that greeted me, and he was awesome. And he taught me that when you arrest them, treat them like a lord, and when you bring them into custody, or the charge office as it was called back then, treat them like a king. And what he meant was that exact thing. Treat them with respect. Treat them as though they are someone's brother or sister, someone's mother or father, or someone's daughter or son, because they're guaranteed to be at least one of those. So I hope that helps. And it just came back, you know, there's so many, I wish I could read out more comments, but I'm just not going to have time. But so many comments came back from serving officers to say, comms, 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 comms. Where else are we going? So let's just take a little break. Paul is saying, you get what you give out. Energy bounces back. It does. It so does. You've got to make this emotional investment in people. And remember, as a police officer, the people you're coming across are normally at their lowest ebb. You don't come across people generally who are feeling happy-go-lucky and chirpy about the world. You know, you come across people who are normally at the lowest ebb in their life. You've got to forgive them a little bit for being a bit upset and pissed off with you, or pissed off with the way they've been treated before, because you lay the foundations for how they're going to approach the police in the future. And trust me, people in the community have a long, long memory. Jamie's adding a point here. Body language and verbal comms are pivotal. Building on what you said, if you go in all guns blazing, shouting, when it inevitably does escalate, then you've got nowhere to go. You've played your hand. You're making it harder for yourself again when they fancy rolling around on the floor with you. Absolutely. Look, you know, it's tough out there. It really is. Paul's actually saying he's been listening to my stuff, all about communicating with them, treat them like a lord. So I'm just going through your comments here. If you're just watching this on YouTube, there's so many of you here. It's awesome to have you, so many of you here this evening. It's great. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about this idea of themed Facebook Lives. Let me know. Put something in the comments. Let me know. You know, how is it so far? How is it so far? This stuff, by the way, is not in Blackstones. You won't find it in the training manuals. This is gold. This is coming from the hearts of serving officers, and from my heart as someone who has served. And I've been in 3 forces. You know, I've been in Cheshire, Bermuda, and Manchester. And can I share with you that the people of Bermuda will appreciate the same tactical comms, that's what we call it, tactical comms, same tactical comms as the people in Manchester and Cheshire, but just people the world over, just appreciate the same thing from their police officers. And I'm no angel, by the way. Listen, there's a lot I wish I'd told myself when I was 20 and walking through the doors of headquarters or the Crew Force Training Centre, having walked from the station with my suitcase. There's a lot I wish I could have told my younger self. I made some big mistakes, trust me. So this is about you learning from those who've been in the shoes that you're going to be in. And for fellow police officers, you know, serving police officers out there, it might be a bit of a reminder for some of you, or hey, stand by because there's more stuff coming. So here's some advice from Siobhan. Now, Siobhan and I go back a while. She's saying, best advice I ever got 18 years ago was keep a contentious record of all the awards, commendations, good work minutes, thank you letters, cards. You never know when professional standards will come calling, and you'll need to prove that you're a good person with a good track record. Oop, excuse my dog, someone's at the front door. But thank goodness I did, because it happened to me 16 years in my personnel file held by the job. I only had 2 thank you letters in it, one of which I'd never seen and was missing. 3 commendations, 5 good work minutes and 15 thank you letters. That's the personal one. So the personal one's more important. You keep your own file of all the good stuff that you've done to demonstrate to professional standards, look, this is so out of character for me. What they're alleging is out of character because look, there, give them it, show them it. I've never thought of this, Siobhan. It's awesome. And there's a couple of other people as well said similar things. So don't rely on the... Am I back again? Yes, this is the real world. Someone's just tried to call me and it completely threw the Facebook Live. So I'm hoping it back now. Give me some loves or likes if I'm back again and rocking and rolling and did I say that? Just let me know if I'm back and you can hear me okay and see me okay. All right, I'm getting some likes there, so hopefully that's all good. All right, okay, stop. Who had called me? I don't know what. Thomas is saying welcome back. That happens. Phone trumps Facebook Live on an iPhone. So that's awesome advice, Siobhan. Here's another one as well. I love this as well. Get to know the cleaner, the front desk staff, the janitor, as they're always able to do most usual favours, and they know everyone. If they can't help, they know someone who can. They're part of your team. You know, they're part of the station's team. Everyone's got a part to play. And I learnt this more as a sergeant, I think, than as a constable. And I wish I could have taught myself this years before. But those staff, the inquiry counter clerks, the traffic wardens that we had back then, we don't have them anymore, but all of those people who perform functions in the police station that's not police officer, they're all really important and they help the station go around. They help it work 24/7. The people at comms who you speak to and you never seen them before, go and visit them at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's, I was going to say it's a little bit quiet, but whenever you get the chance, you know, just go speak to your sergeant. If okay if I just go and visit comms to, you know, arrange to say I'd love to see you face to face, the people who speak to me on, build up relationships with people, and it'll go down well. Offer the people on the inquiry counter a brew. If you're putting the kettle on, and by the way, don't be using this excuse with me that I don't drink tea or coffee. It doesn't matter. The best way of breaking down barriers when you're a police officer, a new police officer in a station, the best way of finding out who's going to help you, who your friends are, those people who are going to be able to support you and help you and guide you, offer to make people a brew. You will soon make friends. You will soon make friends. Brew up. Get good at making a good cup of tea. Get good at making a good cup of coffee. And I don't care what they say at training school. I don't care what they teach you at university about how it's demeaning or bullying. Listen, you're going in. You're the squeaky new girl or new boy. I know some of you might be thinking that's an inappropriate phrase. You can't be saying new girl or new boy, but you are. That's what you are. You're the new person on the block. Put the kettle on. Don't think you're ever too old in service not to put the kettle on. As an inspector, I used to put the kettle on. Not that often. But when people were pulled out, I'd be like, right, it's time for the inspector to brew up. And I'd say, right, it's inspector brew time. And people are like, oh, no, your brews are horrible, boss. But they appreciated the fact that the boss brewed up. The same with the sergeant as well. So if it's okay for sergeants and inspectors to brew up, and it was all right for me to brew up as a sergeant and inspector, it's certainly okay for you to brew up in your first couple of weeks. So like I said, don't give me any of that, oh, it's bullying and I've been told it's demeaning. And no, honestly, it really, really will help you. It really, really will help you. All right, so what else we got here? What other gems have we got? Be organised. Have your appointments for things like statements booked in for your next tour of duty, set of shifts, and have that information available on parade before your next set of shifts. That way the sergeant can support you in trying to meet those appointments where possible. Don't be springing it on your sergeant. You know, like at the end of parade, Sarge, can I just let you know I've got all these different appointments? And Sarge is thinking, why didn't you tell me before? Why didn't you tell me actually yesterday that you've got all these appointments and I could have plotted it out? Because I've just put you down on this beat, or I've got all of these jobs lined up and now you tell me. You know, the amount of times as a sergeant I used to say things like that. Now you tell me. Did you not think of telling me this yesterday? So that's a really, really good, really good bit of advice. And always check your personal statements before hitting send. A colleague ended up having to explain to a judge why he had a very inappropriate sentence in the middle after leaving his computer unattended and open. There's a never leave your pocket notebook lying around, and always log off. I mean, seriously, folks, seriously. If you leave your pocket notebook lying around, I don't care how inappropriate it is, there's every chance that someone's going to draw a dicky bird on one of the pages. If you don't know what a dicky bird is, just use your imagination. A dicky bird, they're going to draw one of those on your pocket notebook. It's like this unwritten rule. It's bullying, it's inappropriate. As a sergeant, I would be tearing the strip off anyone who did that if I found out who did it, but it will happen. Never leave your pocket notebook lying around, and always log off. If you're going to the toilet, you're going to put the kettle on, don't leave your computer unattended with you logged in. Log off, save everything, log off, log back in again, because someone will put something inappropriate. They will send an email on your behalf. Listen, it's the mischief that police get up to. They always will, and people get into trouble for it, and they'll still get into trouble for it, and they'll still do it. So just don't do that. I love this as well. There's no shame in saying that you're new to the job and you're not sure of an answer with people, and you'll check and get back to them. People appreciate honesty. They do. I remember I thought I had to know everything in my first few years, and then I realised that after 28 years service, I still didn't know everything. What I realised was the more I knew, the more I actually didn't know. The more I knew, the more I found out. The more I knew, the more I actually discovered that I didn't know a lot of stuff. It just began. You just found out that there's so much out there to know. What I realised, the greatest skill, and I picked this up more as an inspector than as a sergeant or constable, and you could use this as a constable, is it's not knowing everything, it's knowing where to get the information from, and that requires you to build up relationships with people, not just in the police, but in partner agencies as well. Another one is here. I love this one as well. Body worn video, it's your best friend. If in doubt, switch it on. Bats off more complaints than anything else. Someone else also commented to say that they also switch on their body worn camera at a job before things escalate. You've got a sixth sense. You know that actually this is going to go pear-shaped. You're going to end up locking people up. You start getting a feel for it. Turn it on before you get out of the car, and then there's no allegations that stuff got missed out. You're an open book. You're an open book. My team had body worn camera, by the way, well over a decade before it became the next big thing in the police. We really did. The Sale Neighbourhood Policing team managed to fix them up with body worn cameras and ways of recording things, and all the things they found in their great research at the College of Policing. We actually discovered this over a decade before, but I got told off. It's not been through forced procurement. There's a load of other stuff that we used as well that I got a bollocking for, because we're not gone through forced procurement. Don't matter. It's great stuff. That's what happens sometimes. And I love this as well. Here's another one from Siobhan. I was barely 3 years in the job when the neighbourhood inspector came knocking on the door. If you do good things and you're always trying to do more than is necessary and give 120% without being asked to do so, people will always notice. And people did notice. I went to Siobhan when she had about 3 years service in, asking her if she'd be interested in joining Sale Neighbourhood Policing Team. And it wasn't me that noticed her, it was my sergeants. Don't think that inspectors don't talk to sergeants and say, who do you think we should try and get on our team now? The specialist ones, like neighbourhood policing, the plainclothes teams, the local narcotics teams, response, road policing units, whatever it is, they're always on the lookout for good people. And the people they will notice are the people who give 120% without being asked to do so, who never complain, who never moan, who always put themselves forward for a job no matter what that job is. When the sergeant's there on parade going, oh, I've got a great job here. Oh, you're going to love this one. Oh, this has got someone's name on it and they're going to love this one. You're going to love this job. And they're teasing you a bit and everyone's going, don't look at me, it's bullshit. And you just shout up, I'll deal with it, Sergeant. I'll deal. You're the one that's on the radio. Whenever comms put out a call, blanket call, we should stop doing blanket calls, by the way. Blanket call, anyone available for a sudden death, shoplifter, all the things that are unpopular. You're the one that shouts up all the time. You're the one that's like first there. Yep, show me. Always volunteering, always getting stuck in, always putting yourself forward, giving 120% without being asked to do so. Never moans or groans, or a little bit of moaning and groaning. Moan and groan upwards. Moan and groan to your sergeant and let off a bit of steam. Your sergeant will let you do that because you're a grafter. I always used to say to my sergeants that we will allow those who are the grafters a bit of space to have a bit of a moan and a groan because they deserve it. They need to let off a bit of steam, get it out of the system, and then get back out there and do what they're amazing at. The lazy ones, I'm not going to tolerate it because they've got no right to moan and groan. So I was a bit old school like that. But you'll find that there's lots of sergeants and inspectors who are exactly that. And they will notice you. And I noticed Siobhan because it was the sergeants who pointed out that we should approach Siobhan. We approached lots of people, actually. We approached lots of people from Response and other teams, and we had an awesome team. We put together an awesome team. These were the happiest days in policing I had. Sale Neighbourhood Policing Team. Fantastic. So other advice here, people saying it does get better. You'll go through good and bad times in a job, but it's worth it in the end. Awesome. Wow, I could go on forever here. There's too much. There's too much awesome advice here. Do you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to take all of it and turn it into a PDF. What do you think, folks? Take all this awesome advice and put it into a PDF, like a little mini ebook. What do you reckon? A little mini ebook. What do you think? Do you think I'd work? Let me know, by the way. And you can go on camera with me at the moment. If anyone's got any questions or they want to add something, just let me know. It'll show on the screen that you're willing to go on camera. It'll go split screen, so you'll like at the top and bottom and ask questions. Let me know. So I'm going to wrap up soon, give you a chance to ask any questions in a moment. Not everyone can do it, by the way. So Paul is saying definitely. I can't do that. You may have to ask if you can come on camera, Paulie, because I can't bring you on camera for some odd thing. It's something. Or you're saying definitely to the ebook. Paulie, I think Paulie's saying definitely to the ebook. I think I'm going to do that. I think it'd be awesome, don't you think? We've got all of this advice and it'd be such a shame because Facebook, it just like gets lost in the annals of Facebook. You know, Facebook, what do we call it? The sellers of Facebook. It'll be gone. Thomas is saying the Bluestones ebook, a play on Blackstones, a Bluestones ebook. I think of something. Paulie's saying ebook. Yeah, ebook. Yeah, I'm sorry, Paulie. I wasn't sure what you were saying definitely to, whether it's coming on live or ebook. Paulie's saying ebook. Awesome. I'm going to do that. Watch this space. We're going to turn it into an ebook and something that people will be able to add to. Every now and then I'll post this, and any gems I'll add it to the ebook, and I think it'd be great. I'm going to not end because I'll take some questions if anyone's got any, but I'm going to wrap up a little bit with this advice from Zach, who said, before I started, I was advised to give it at least 2 years. If you want to leave, or if you feel like you want to leave, just give it that long. And I said, look, Zach, I hope you waited and stayed. And he said, at times I chanted that like a mantra because I felt like leaving. But I love the job and I'm still here. There you go. Good job, Zach. I heard the same thing. And there's many a time when I was in my first 2 years that I felt like leaving. And, you know, not everyone is going to have nice things to say about you. You're going to have to develop a bit of a thick skin. Actually, no. Sometimes you don't develop a thick skin. It's okay not to have a thick skin. And sometimes it's okay to be upset by the things that people say around you. But for those of you who are going to have some ups and downs, don't think that my career has been full of ups all the time. My first report from training school, from the Bruce District Police Training Centre, was awful. Awful. I joined in September and we finished at training school in December to take a 2-week break. And I went to division first week of January, 3rd of January, I think it was, 1986, with a report that said openly, Constable O'Brien is not expected to complete his first 2 years. I cannot see him being an effective constable. I remember my training sergeant telling me, actually in words more fierce than that, telling me, "You're never going to make a police officer as long as I've got a hole up my arse," were his exact comments. What do they know? What do they know? I remember my chief superintendent, he really boosted my, I got to meet the chief superintendent, he really boosted my confidence, because can you imagine going in with that report, you're operational for the first time, and you've got that report basically saying, you're not fit for purpose as a police officer and you're never going to be an effective police officer and you'll probably leave within 2 years. Imagine getting that. I remember him just looking at me, just going, I don't tend to trust training sergeants because they're not out there on the front line. I'm going to trust what your sergeants tell me. You've got some good sergeants down there. I trust what they say because I know them. I've worked with them. So let's just ignore this. And I remember him tearing it up, the copy he had, he just tore it up and said, "I'm not interested. Day one for you starts here, Constable O'Brien." I can't even remember the name of the chief super. I wish I could remember his name. He was awesome. I remember the conversation, even though it's 35 years ago. But it was awesome. And he put some spirit back in me. And I had awesome sergeants. And I did well. I had this most amazing and successful and fulfilling career. And now it's your turn. And now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to have that successful and fulfilling career. There's a difference. You can have a successful career, but if it's without fulfillment, then it has no meaning. But if it's both fulfilling and successful, then you can retire or resign with honour and look back on something that was a privilege and honour to do. And that's yourselves now. So don't be put off by things that people might say about you. I mean, what do they know? You're there to prove them wrong, or you're there not to actually prove anything to them. Interestingly, the sergeant who told me that, 15 years later, I'm reading the newspaper and I was thinking, that name's familiar. That name is familiar. Turns out he got dismissed from the constabulary he worked for harassing a member of the public who'd made a call about domestic violence, and it didn't end up well for him. He got dismissed from the force. So he got it wrong. It wasn't me that was not going to be a police officer as long as he had a hole up his backside. It was him. He was talking about himself. Karma, folks, karma. Whether you believe in it or not, there's something about karma. He wasn't a particularly nice individual. I don't think so at all. I don't think he was a nice individual at all. So you're going to come across people like that. Hopefully more people that are nice, pleasant, supportive, as you will be. And less of the dinosaurs of policing. Less and less of the dinosaurs of policing. All right. Okay, folks. Well, listen, let's have a look at some of your comments. I hope that was useful for you. David's saying, can you do one more example? I've just joined and I find it really interesting. Oh, David, it would be like everyone will be getting bored. It's 40 minutes long now. Sarge is saying, ebook, yes, please, yes. Polly is saying ebook as well. Thomas is saying ebook. Let me know what you think, folks. Post. Comment. Thomas is saying, I think it'd be an idea for a future live or podcast. What does the sergeant and inspector want in an officer and a probationer? I think I've just talked about a lot of those things already, actually. The sort of things that they'd want. Difficulty being is getting a sergeant or an inspector who's got the time and permission from their force to get involved in the group. Although, stand by your beds. I'm working on something at the moment. a sergeant who's been a acting inspector as well, who was in your shoes 7 years ago. I remember him saying to me things like, oh, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get in or whether the job's right for me and blah, 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 blah. Hey, listen, I'm not going to say his name just yet, but if I get him on board, he is awesome. What a role model, an incredible role model, hugely respected across the country now. So there you go, folks. There you go. I'll see if I can get that. I'm working on it. Let's see what else we got. Michaela's saying ebook, please. Let me know, folks. Let me know what you're thinking. Loves and likes. I appreciate them. Let me know. I want to see some loves and likes. I want to see some comments. Let me know what you're thinking. If you want to ask anything else, I'm going to hang around for a little bit longer before we finish this Facebook Live. Brad's saying, really enjoying these Facebook Lives at the moment. There's so much information you can absorb and use to your advantage. It's a great insight for youngsters. Did you really use that word there? Youngsters wishing to join the force. Experience is always a useful tool. Can't think of a better way to learn. Brilliant stuff. And Shabnam's watching as well. Shabnam, that's very, very fortuitous. We've got Shabnam Chaudri who's watching this Facebook Live. And a good time, Shabnam. What do you think? A good time for me to announce something really rather special? I don't know if Shabnam, you want to come on camera with me and we can have a quick few moments to talk about what we're going to be doing on the 8th of November. Let me know, Shabnam, and otherwise I'll just broadcast it to everyone. I'm going to send you a link later. So someone asked before, it'd be really good if we had a sergeant or inspector say what they're looking for from junior officers. Hey, we're going to go one step better than that. We are going to have Shabnam Chaudri, who's a retired Chief Superintendent from the Met Police, who's saying that'd be great. All right, let's see if we can make this happen. I'm going to have to take off my mic, so hopefully you can still hear me via the phone and cameras microphone. Let's see if we can bring Shabnam on camera. So if this is going to work, Shabnam saying yes, get me on camera. So let's see if we can make this work. So connecting. I think it's working. Hey Shabnam, how you doing?
Well, I wish you'd have given me a chance to do my makeup.
Well, I've not done mine, so you're okay.
I'm not saying a word.
Well, Shabnam, it's great to have you on this Facebook Live. I think you probably caught the gist of it. It's all the things that I wish I knew as I was walking through the course of the training school along the way. We've got a little bit of feedback going on here, but don't matter. So great to have you on board. Shabnam is going to join us for a Zoom webinar on the 8th of November. Shabnam, do you want to tell us a little bit about, just a little bit, who you are, and, you know, what you've been doing recently, and what you've been doing for the past 30 years?
Well, thank you. Nothing like putting me on the spot. So I joined policing in 1989. I was determined to become a police officer from the age of about 18, and several years, several attempts, was finally accepted into the Metropolitan Police. Fantastic journey, bit of a challenge, a real roller coaster of a ride, but hopefully I can share my journey, my experiences of being a police officer. I was a career detective. I was an undercover operative for best part of 10 years, worked across the whole of the UK in some very challenging situations. I was the gangs lead at Hackney, implemented the first integrated gangs unit across London, head of safeguarding, the Olympics. So lots and lots, hopefully, to tell your listeners. This is my very first Facebook live show, so it's quite interesting. I saw you come up on my Facebook and I thought, oh, let me just pop in and see what happened. I had no idea that I'd be sneakily watching.
Oh yeah, well, there's no sneakily watching in the Facebook group. No, it's great to have you on board in the Facebook group, Shabnam. What I'll do for everyone is I'll put out a link to the Zoom webinar that you'll be able to register for. and it's going to be awesome. It's great to hear about your stories, your career, and in particular the messages that you want to pass on to those people who are either young in service or who are looking to join the police. So it'd be fantastic. That'd be great.
I look forward to it. It's not a walk in the park, but I tell you what, it's one of the best journeys I've ever had.
Best job in the world.
Definitely.
All right. Okay. Well, it's a good time to end the Facebook Live. Shabnam, I look forward to seeing you on the 8th. For everyone else, we'll check the link in the Facebook group for the course. And we shall see you all soon. Recording of this will go on, so you'll be able to watch this at a later time. And great to have you all on board this evening. I shall see you all soon. Stay safe, look after each other. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.